Alright, so we're back on our Cortina project, and I'll admit I have been doing things off camera to it, just little things here and there to get it ready. We've had a bit of a change of plans with this car. Pretty much there's a show that comes around in Vancouver every year on May long weekend, the All British Field Meet. British cars meet up in Van Dusen Gardens. There's a show Saturday, then usually Sunday there is a little road rally kind of trip up to Whistler. And every year I get the same comments from my dad and grandfather. You know, you should get your car in there, you should get your car in there. It's never done. This year the theme is English Fords. That's one of the featured marques, I guess you could say. So I'm trying to get the car ready for the main long weekend. Now you may notice that's the original engine back in there. So yeah, I got the original engine and transmission back in there. I've replaced pretty much all of the hard brake lines and a couple of the soft brake lines, machined the rear brake rotors for my disc brake conversion that I did on this years ago. This isn't a rebuilt master, but it is a cleaned up master cylinder. That should work. I had the cross member out. There was a lot of rust. This area down here around this cross member mount was rusted out. So I repaired that. I'll throw some pictures up of that process, and then the rest of it's really just been, you know, getting it together, trying to get it to run. Got the engine back in, and that starter, you may remember from earlier videos of this car, the starter was really slow and weak. Just ended up replacing it. There's a shiny new starter down there. And then we're trying to get it going. It's not working, and I check, oh, the engine's not grounded to the frame. And there was a ground strap down on the cross member there that was cut off. Looked like it went to the engine, so I put an end on it, put it to the engine, and then it would turn over, but it was like, man, something's smoking. It looks like it's this brake line. So I had my dad crank it while I put my hand on it, and it got really fucking hot. And then I kind of had an aha moment. The subframe's rubber mounted, so the subframe isn't actually grounded to the body of the car, except through, apparently, this brake line. So we've changed it now, because the crossmember really doesn't need to be grounded to the engine or the body. There's nothing to it. So I've run the ground strap from the ground point on the body to the motor. And now I had it firing up really nicely. Let's see if it'll continue to do that for us. Let me just reach in and pop the key on. Hopefully the camera doesn't go flying. There you go, she's starting up and idling pretty nicely now. I'm not going to run it too long because there's no cooling system in it yet. I'm going to figure that out. Pretty much other than putting it back in, the only thing I did to the engine was replace the points in the spark plugs, and then I base timed it. We're not running off the tank yet. I got a jerry can over there. That's going to be another step, but I'd like to try and figure out the cooling system so I can maybe run it for an extended length of time.